Hello, Sipsters. Welcome back to a new episode of the Sippin' on Stories podcast with me, Mandy. I'm so delighted that you're here. I've got a question for you. I've done it both ways. If you've listened to the podcast from the beginning, if you go back to my beginning episodes, I did not have the intro music at the beginning. It was just me talking. Then about halfway through, or at this point, I don't know. At some point, I started adding in the intro music before I talk, and I would like some feedback. So what do you prefer? Do you care? Do you like the music? Do you want me to just start talking? Do you have a preference? I've been asking myself that, and I figure what better place to ask than to my audience that is listening. So if you will leave a comment, maybe I'll actually add a poll on this episode. I'll leave a poll. Go ahead on Spotify, on Apple. I don't think I could do that. So on Spotify, I'll leave a poll. If you like the intro music first, or if you just want me to jump right into the talking first, if you don't have an opinion, that's fine. I may change it again. We will see. I can do whatever I want, it's my podcast. All right, for today's episode, it's going to be a little bit of a shorter episode, but it's a short and fun one. I really had a good time during this interview. We have Anita, who actually is the mom of our previous guest. She is the mom of Heather, who was my interview back in August, being saved by search and rescue. So she mentions her daughter. Her daughter was actually here with her during that interview. So she says she wasn't born yet at this time, right? She makes a comment like that. She's talking about her daughter. And then we also talk a little bit about Heather's episode. So it was just a good conversation, and I was smiling through pretty much the entire thing. So here is today's episode. We have Anita with us today. You don't care if we use your name, right?
No, that's fine.
Okay. All right, Anita, what is your favorite drink?
Water. I drink lots of water. Having said that, once a week I allow myself, I love NW root beer, diet root beer, or zero, the zero. Mm-hmm. And I'll have one of those.
Once a week?
Once a week.
It's a good treat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you for coming and recording an episode with me. I'm excited. You're going to tell us about a time that you were left at a gas station, correct?
Right.
Okay. So why don't you go ahead and start telling us the story?
Okay, I'm going to back up a little bit and kind of give a little bit of history of where I met my husband.
Okay.
So we were at BYU, and I met him there, and we got married, and he had another year of school, so we're there for that. And then he got a job in Michigan, and so he had an MGA convertible. 57 MGA convertible. Mm-hmm. That was our car.
Oh, so fun. My mom would be jealous.
I know. Well, and the nice thing was that the company that hired him paid to ship us out there. So we put everything except what we needed for the trip in that moving van. Mm-hmm. And then we went. We didn't have a tent. We just slept out in sleeping bags.
Wow.
In the Badlands, we're out in there. I remember the first time we did it, I thought, we're in cougar country. There's going to be a cougar come get us. Nothing happened, but that was funny. Anyway, and then about 30 miles from our destination, which was Benton Harbor, Michigan, we got a flat tire.
Oh, so close.
That. Yeah, it was so close. So we have a picture of it. He made a little poster that said 30 miles and put it up there, and him changing the tire. That's the kind of guy he was.
That's funny.
Yeah. Anyway, so we made it, and he started his job, and everything went well. But he had always wanted to be in business for himself. And when he was a teenager, he had worked at a hobby shop, and so he thought he would like to open a hobby shop. And this time we had a friend that lived up in South Haven, which was 23 miles north of Benton Harbor, and he had teenagers, and he was getting tired of taking those teenagers down to Benton Harbor for all the young the MIA and church, and church was morning and evening back then.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It was like a lot. And so he starts recruiting, and when he found out we were interested in opening up a hobby shop, he says, well, why don't you open it up in South Haven? So we did. We moved up there to South Haven.
When you say hobby shop, What do you mean? Like, what all was there?
Hobbies, crafts, you know, like beads and...
Was it kind of like a Michael's type of, like a
Yeah,
hobby?
kind of
Okay.
like that, but a small... It was in an old blacksmith shop
Oh, that's cool.
that we eventually bought from the man. First, we just leased it from him, but eventually we bought the whole corner there. It had an old church there, too, that so we bought that, and he opened up a hobby shop there.
Cool.
And we also had a fried chicken franchise, and
Oh, fun.
what else? We had canoe livery. It was a resort town, you know. So, and it was on Lake Michigan.
Yeah, I remember that's what
Yeah,
they're saying. Yeah,
it was a fun place to live. And we had an arcade, game arcade, and you know all these things that we did, and really enjoyed that. And we'd been in Michigan about 3 years by this time, and because it was in 1970 that we went. Yeah, we moved there in '66. I guess about 4 years, and we wanted to go out and visit the relatives, you know, because we hadn't seen anybody for a while. And so we planned this time when we were going to go, and the day before we were supposed to go, he got really sick, flu or something, you know. And I thought, I'm not missing this
Yeah, I'm
trip.
still going.
We're still going. So we had a station wagon, if anybody remembers what those are.
Oh, I had a station wagon.
Yeah,
when I was a
okay.
kid, yeah.
Yeah. And so I packed everything up on the sides of the station wagon.
Did you have kids at this
Two.
point? Okay.
Yeah, she wasn't born yet.
Okay.
And along each side, and then in the middle, I put a sleeping bag to make a bed for him. And then the kids were right behind the driver's seat, you know.
Yeah.
No, we didn't have seatbelts back then.
Oh, yeah. It's a very different time.
Yeah. So I kind of made like a little bed and an area where they could play and stuff. And the day before, I had gone over to the store and bought some no-dos, which I'd never taken before, and I've never taken since.
What is a no-do?
No-dos. Yeah.
No
yeah.
doze, like don't sleep.
Yeah,
Oh,
right, exactly.
got it.
And I think it's 100% caffeine. I don't
yeah.
know, because I don't usually take caffeine. But anyway, so we get in the car. You know, I get it all ready, and then I go into the house and drag him out. You know.
Yeah.
And then we took off, and back then it was about a 32-hour drive. So I drove the whole thing by myself.
Wow, that's very impressive. Where are you
Yeah.
headed again? Where was the end of the...
Provo, Utah.
Okay.
I guess where we went first. And because he had a sister that lived there and his mother lived there. Anyway, so we take off, and if I got too tired, I would pull over at a rest stop for maybe an hour or something and sleep.
Yeah.
But usually I took another no-dose.
Keep on going.
And by the time we got to Utah, I was really wired.
Oh, yeah, I'm
I
sure.
was like, ah! Anyway, so we get there and have a wonderful visit with our relatives. He recuperated after about a day or so. He was okay. And so
Was that drive like terrible? Do you remember for him? Was he...
He was sleeping most of the time.
That's
yeah.
great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Your bed was nice for
Yeah.
him. Yeah.
And the kids were pretty well behaved, you know, and stuff. My oldest was 3 at the time, and then I had my oldest daughter, and then my oldest son was about 8 months.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Well,
So, yeah. Unfortunately, I had to bottle feed him, and so I didn't have to worry about stopping to nurse or anything like that.
yeah.
Anyway, you don't want to know some things like, I have to, as an aside here, tell you. So we were a dependent branch in South Haven, so we still had to go down to Benton Harbor for Relief Society and stuff like that. And I ended up being the Relief Society president, so I had to be there. And so coming home, I would nurse him while I'm driving.
Well, I'm sure. Yeah. You got to do what you got to do.
You know, it's like, I think about that now. It's like, okay.
Yeah. I'm sure it was pretty normal back then, though, too. Yeah. Yeah.
That was when he was little. After 2 months, I couldn't nurse him anymore. But anyway, so we're on this trip, and we get there, and we have a wonderful time, and then it's time to go back, and I get what he's got.
Oh, no. Okay.
So now I'm really sick.
Yeah.
So I'm the one in the back on the sleeping bag, and he's driving, and he starts talking to me because he was afraid of falling asleep. He was tired.
Yeah.
And so he would just talk to me, not expecting me to answer, just telling me things, about what where we were going by, or things that came to his mind that he wanted to tell me about. And I was listening kind of in and out a little bit because I was so out of it. And then kids were still in the same spot right behind the front seat. And I remember him telling me that we had this gas card for some gas station.
Like a credit card?
Yeah. But we could only use it at the gas station. And it said on there that after a certain date, that this particular gas station, because there were 2 or 3 gas station companies that used it, that this particular gas station wouldn't accept it anymore. And we're getting low on gas, and he said, well, I'm going to go ask them, just see if maybe they'll still take it. And so he pulls up to the entrance to the gas station to go in and ask the guy, and I get the runs. So I got to go to the bathroom.
You're sick. It happens. Yeah.
And so I get out and I go into the bathroom, and he comes back and gets in the car, and I come out of the bathroom, and I look around and I can't see the car, and I thought, well, maybe he pulled away from the pump and
pulled up to
somewhere, and so I'm looking around and no car. And I'm sicker than a dog, It's like, okay. So the attendant came up and asked, what was wrong, and I said, well, I think my husband thinks I'm in the car.
Of course, there's no cell phones right now either.
Yeah, right.
Oh, no.
Nothing. And so he says, well, I think I know where he went, because I told him about this gas station about 20 minutes up the road that he could go to that would accept the card. And I'm pretty sure he's going there. He says, and I know them there, I'll call them. So he did. And in the meantime, there was an attached cafe. So I went into the cafe, and I sat down at the counter, and I just explained to the lady, I said, my husband left me thinking I'm in the car, and he'll be back to get me, but could I get a cup of hot chocolate, and then I'll pay you when he gets back. Back there it's 25 cents. So 25 cents. But so she, sure, honey, so she gets me this cup of hot chocolate, and I drank maybe just a quarter of it, and I just laid my head down on the counter. That's all I could do.
Yeah.
And I'm laying there with my head on the counter, and this guy walks in, and he looks at, and he orders what he wants, and he's talking to the waitress, and he says, what's wrong with her? And in this very knowing voice, her husband left her. Oh. Oh, great.
She's going through a separation right now. She's drinking her woes away with the hot chocolate.
And I was just too sick to get up and say anything. I thought, okay, whatever.
Think what you want.
Yeah, right. So in the meantime, my husband's tooling down the road talking to me.
Of course, thinking that you're listening to him the whole time.
To him. Yeah, I'm just talking. And he pulls up to the pump at the gas station. And back then it was full service. They didn't have self-service back then. So he pulls up to a pump, and the attendant comes out, and with this smirk on his face, he says, did you forget something? And my husband, he's so confused. What do you mean? Did I forget something?
Yeah.
He says, I don't think so. He says, well, how about your wife? He's like, what? Well, about this time, my daughter wakes up, and she sees Mommy's not there. She says, Mommy. She starts crying, and that woke the baby up, and here's my husband.
You're like, well,
So he gets the gas, and he goes back to the other station, and he comes in to the station, and the guy told me I was over in the cafe, so he goes over to the cafe, and I'm there, and I explained to him that I needed to pay for the hot chocolate, so he pays the lady. She had the look on her face like, I'm sure she didn't think she would ever see that quarter for that hot chocolate. Anyway, so the whole rest of the trip, he was still talking to me, but every time we stopped for gas, he would double check to make sure I was back there. But we did make it home safely, and everything was okay. But
that's all the circumstances leading up to that. The fact that he because what if the card would have worked there, and he would have just gotten the gas and left? And
yes.
Never known, but
exactly.
So really, that was
I hadn't
blessing
even
in
thought about that,
disguise.
but that's
Yeah.
really true. That was a blessing in disguise. 'Cause
He was able to call the fact that he knew where he was going.
Right,
Like,
right.
and it's just so many things that would never be the case nowadays. One, people aren't making beds in their car normally. And,
right.
you know, we've got the cell phones and
So
all
much,
the things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so much has changed.
Yeah.
That probably would be very rare for it to happen anymore now. But
Yeah.
back then it was like, what do you do? It just reminds me of the pioneers. The pioneers were like, they had nothing. You know?
They did. Yeah. Even a telephone to call the other gas station.
Sometimes
they
it
would
would
have had
take
nothing.
a couple weeks to get a letter, or even sometimes a month, you know, to get a letter back to somebody. But
Yeah.
anyway.
I'm grateful for the stuff we have now.
And me too.
Yeah. But this makes for a great story. So,
It does.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, that was funny. I like how my cheeks are hurting because I was smiling through that whole thing. That was fun. So I'm like, I can't remember if one of my brothers got left somewhere or something. I'll have to ask my mom. But yeah, I feel like she may have left somebody, quickly remembered and turned around and went back. But that was fun.
It was funny.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing that.
That's good.
And thank you for listening to the podcast. It's always fun for me to.
I love the podcast. Yeah, it's
So-
really fun.
I'm like people that I don't know. That I'm like, oh, you're one of the ones that are listening that I don't interact with on a daily basis. So it's fun.
Well, if we have time, I'll tell you a story about Heather.
Oh
my
yeah,
daughter.
go for it. Yeah. You weren't prepared.
We did travel a lot. It was one of the good things about being self-employed. It was that we could take off. We had a really good a young lady that was our manager of our. We had a fried chicken franchise, and
Yeah.
she was the manager, so we could just go. And living on Lake Michigan, we had a sailboat, a 33-foot fixed keel sailboat.
Sounds like so dreamy in my
It
mind.
was.
Yeah.
And we had a wet sailor, and we had kayaks, and you know, for the inland lakes, there was inland lakes, and then there was Lake Michigan. You know, so we just had a lot of fun doing that kind of stuff. But this time, again, we had come out to visit the relatives, and we decided to go home Trans-Canada Highway. And so we went up from Provo, we went north up to Banff.
Oh, pretty.
Yeah, so gorgeous
Yeah.
up there. And we camped, you know, we like to camp, and we decided to go up to see the glacier. And so we drove up there, and all the kids get out. Heather was about 2 at the time, and then I had my youngest son. He was he would have been about 1, I guess, or not quite 1. And so we're going up, walking the path up to the glacier, and the kids are running ahead, as kids do, and we come to this big sign that says, "Watch out for glacial goop."
Glacial goop.
Goop, that's what they call
Okay.
it. It's the sticky mud stuff. Yeah. And Richard and I looked at each other and like, Heather.
Was she a trouble kid?
Well, she just got into, you know, she was
Yeah.
always, I don't know what it
Getting
was.
into things. Yeah.
Yeah, she was a toddler. Yeah. And about that time we were, wah. Sure enough, she had fallen into this glacial goop. And here we are out in the middle of nowhere, you know, and I didn't have anything except a blanket to wipe her off with. And the only thing I had to use as water was that runoff from the glacier. So
Freezing
it was like
cold.
ice water.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a very warm day either, you know. It was cloudy and cold. And so that's all I could do was wipe her off with that. And she was just freezing.
Oh,
you
I'm
know?
sure.
So I wrapped her up in a blanket, another blanket that I had. And in the park there, they had restaurants that were run by the park system. And we thought, we'll go to one of those parks and we'll get some hot chocolate to warm everybody up, you know. And so we get out of the car and we go into the restaurant. And the guy says, "I'm sorry, but we have a private party here tonight and we're not serving anybody else." You know, so we had to go all the way back down to our campground. Couldn't get any dinner anywhere, so we had hot dogs, you know, for dinner.
I love a hot dog. I'm not gonna
I
lie.
do
It's
too.
my
It's a
favorite.
good thing we had it. But,
Yeah.
but just never forget her getting, you know, just the minute we saw that sign and realized that's when she fell in. And we did go on up and see the glacier. I just wrapped her in a blanket and we went up there and saw the glacier. But we didn't spend a lot of time up there because it was really kind of a cold, cloudy
yeah.
day. You know, so even though it was in the summer. So I can't remember when in the summer, but it was summer.
That's funny.
Anyway, so yeah, that was.
Speaking of Heather, so Heather was our episode of being saved by search and rescue for those listening. And she had talked about your reaction when she like came back down. Do you remember what that feeling was? I'll ask you since I have you here what that was like.
I was petrified because we had been up on walking the path up.
Yeah.
And we came back down anyway, search and rescue was there at the time. They were already there. I said, "What's that for?" And they said, "Well, Heather is stuck up on the ledge up there with Wendy." And you know.
Yeah.
And because I knew she had no experience with that kind of. And we had rolling hills out in Michigan. We did.
Yeah.
And so she didn't really have any experience hiking and something like that. And so I was really worried. So I took my oldest daughter and I said, "Come with me." And we went over behind the horse trailer and said a prayer. Mm-hmm. And I had this calm feeling come over me that everything was going to be all right. So I didn't worry.
Yeah.
And so there were a lot of other people there that weren't part of our group waiting and kind of watching up there. We couldn't really see anything, but we could kind of hear some things going on. Mm-hmm. And so I'm just, and my sister-in-law was there, and we were just laughing and joking. She's videotaping the whole thing. Oh. You know, and
on the camcorder?
Yeah. Yes. Anyway, and so, you know, these people are kind of looking at us like really strange.
Like you should be not laughing around right now.
This is your kid up there and you're laughing about you know? But I wasn't worried. I knew everything was going to be okay. Uh-huh. And then here she comes down the path with the search and rescue
being
people.
Carried.
Oh, she was actually walking.
Oh, at that point.
Because it was loaded, yeah. And so I went up to get her, you know, and then I got emotional and started crying because it was just like, it was just overwhelming. Mm-hmm. And I thought to myself, those people are going to think this is an act, you know.
Oh, I have to cry now.
For the camera, because I'm on camera. But it wasn't an act. It was a real thing.
A release of the emotion that could have been. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Uh-huh. So that's how it all happened. Uh-huh. It's like, oh, they're going to think I'm a nutcase.
Hey, nobody knows how they're going to react in any situation, so you never know. Someone could be laughing to avoid crying.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
maybe.
Yeah, it was. It just to see that she was okay and to really know for sure. They just, anyway. So.
Yeah, that's a fun story. Yeah. Well, thanks again for coming. This was enjoyable.
Well,
and
thank you.
You sound like you probably have a lot of stories that you could tell about things. And,
I do.
Yeah. It's fun. It's fun to talk to you. So, okay. Well, you have a wonderful day.
Okay.
All right.
Too.
Bye.
Thanks for inviting me.
Oh yeah, of course. Bye.
Okay. Bye.
Oh my gosh, she was just so cute. I could have kept talking to her for a long time. In fact, we did talk a little bit longer after we finished recording, and I had mentioned to her, like, I'm sure you have so many stories that you could tell. And she said, yeah, I remember when World War II ended, and talked about when she like heard the sirens. She was 4 years old and like heard the sirens and everybody like cheering. I don't know. I was just like, whoa, that is so cool. It's possible you already know, if you're a close friend of mine, it feels a little scary saying this. However, I'm just going to. I have like a dream of doing life stories for people and recording them, putting together like a little interview with them. And this interview just reminded me of why I want to do that, because big surprise, love hearing the experiences and the life stories that some people have lived and the things that they have witnessed. Talking to Anita about just like the changes in technology from the time they were born till now is just insane. And they have just experienced so much that I truly find so much joy in talking to them about it. And so I would love to actually start a business one day where that is what I do. So that may be coming in the future, saying it out loud. Maybe that's manifesting it for myself. It's also been a dream of mine for many, many years. So anyway, this just like was another reminder as to why I would like to do that. But anyway, she was just so fun. And I mentioned in there about, I think my mom like left somebody like one of my siblings somewhere sometime. So I had to call her and ask. You guys just get a lot of me calling my mom to like ask things. But I mean, she was there for a lot of my life. So she is part of my stories, obviously. And I called and she said, yes, she left my brother once when he was like 5 or 6, something like that. She got in the car. And this is, just one of those hacks that my mom did for us growing up. And I have since implemented with my own children. Growing up, we would always do seatbelt check. And we did this like, not just when we were kids. We did this like up through like being grown children. And we had our order. She would start from the top and just go to the last kid. And she would say our names. And if we had our seatbelts on, we'd say check. And then it was a race at the end to who got to say mom. And make sure that she also was, safe with her seatbelt on. And it was just a fun game. And now I've done that with my kids. And they also love to race to see who can say mom the fastest, and it's just fun. And for me, it's always been a way of like getting my kids to get their seatbelts on, but I learned that my mom did it so that she would not leave anybody behind. It was a way to make sure she had all of us in the car. And so one time she said, the one time that I did not do seatbelt check, we are driving down the road. She's like, I don't remember how long it was before all of a sudden I was like, is Hadley in here with us? And we were all like, no. Anyway, so she turns around, goes home, and my little brother Hadley apparently was outside, just never got in the car. Our front door was locked, so he was just sitting on the curb crying. It was just so sad. A little kid just on the curb crying, thinking that they'd been left. I mean, he was left, but permanently left probably when you're that old. Anyway, just really sad. But gratefully she realized, and we went and got him wherever we were going. I don't think I've ever been left. Thankfully, I've never left somebody else. And nowadays, it would just be so much easier if I was left at a gas station during a road trip, because I could just call my husband real quickly and say, hey, where are you? So the difference between me being on a road trip and Anita is that I'd probably be the one nonstop talking in the car. So someone would probably realize if I wasn't there. I guess if I was sick, maybe not. But anyway, fun thinking about how things were back in the day. Thinking about even how things were when I was a kid and the unsafe ways in which we traveled. Yeah, it would not happen today. I also did think it was ironic. I thought about this. My kids decided to watch Home Alone today. And I was like, oh, what are the chances that my interview today that I'm editing, doing this, is about people being left behind? And that's the movie that my children have chosen. I just thought it was ironic. And it's a great movie. Great way to kick off, the holiday season. I have not yet decorated for Christmas, but it's coming. I'm excited. And I'm sure you all are as well. Back to the episode. I also hope that you enjoyed just little tidbits about Heather and just getting the recap of what it was like for her mom during the whole experience that Heather had with being saved by search and rescue. If you have not yet listened to that episode, you should do that. Go back, listen to the episode by Heather being saved by search and rescue. It was enjoyable. I think really all of them are enjoyable, but I did like that one. And I've got another good episode that was also enjoyable for next week. So I'll see you here then. Don't forget to answer my poll on Spotify. Let me know about the little intro music because I would love some feedback. Reach out to me on Instagram if you've got your own story, or DM. Send me a text if you know me, and email sippinonstoriespodcast@gmail.com. Love to have you on the podcast. Goodbye, Sipsters.